Hey guys, welcome back. This will be the final lesson on Saudança Samba, Jazz and Samba. In this lesson we're going to be learning note for note Jobim Solo in his recording, and we're going to be talking about what devices he's using, learning how he improvises. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Before we get started, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please consider subscribing. You can leave us a thumbs up, maybe drop us a note, drop us a message, let us know what you'd like to learn next. And for backing tracks, for the tabs, for grids, all of that stuff is posted on our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/altguitar. In part 2 of this series, we looked at the chords. Now we learned how to play the chords in the style of Tom Jobim, taken from the album The Composer of Desafinado plays. Now, I would describe his style of improvising as using a lot of repetition, a lot of melodic repetition, so he quotes the melody quite a lot. He uses some chromatic notes. He uses what it's called guide tones, which is when you play either the third or the seventh of the chord. He's using the minor pentatonic in a kind of a slightly bluesy way, which is very, very cool. And he uses a lot of silence as well, a lot of space. So he's not playing super fast notes. It's his style of playing is quite a lot different than jazz players. So in this recording he's improvising, or rather he's embellishing the melody over the A section. So that's 16 bars. And in the B section, the flutist has a solo. So there's a flute solo. We're going to be looking at both solos. So both Jobim's over the A section and Leo Wright's solo over the B section. The first part of the solo sounds like this. The A section, we're in the key of D major, and we have 2 bars of D, chord 1. You can play a D6, 9. So it's 2 bars of D. Then it's 2 bars of E9, E dominant 9. 2 bars of A9 sus. Then a bar of D and a bar of G. Let's unpack phrase by phrase. He starts off by playing the melody, although slightly embellished. And then he plays the guide tone, he heads over the guide tone of E9, the dominant, so he's heading to the third of that chord. So he's playing the G sharp, which sits perfectly over the E9. Then he continues by playing the rest of the melody. So up to there we have and then he plays the melody. He quotes this one more time, but transposed up a fifth. So he'll play before the melody went like this, and now he does, and he heads over to the A, which is where we're going, the A sus 9, and then at the very end he'll play the guide tone of the G, because that's where we're going to. We play 1 bar of D6 9 and then a bar of G7. So I'll play very slowly one more time from the beginning. Those are the first 8 bars. The next 8 bars are a little bit funkier, a little bit bluesier. He starts off by playing the same as before, the same little intro, which is quoting the melody. I sometimes play it on the 7th fret. And then he'll play a little blues lick minor pentatonic to the major, the minor third to the major in the key of D. And that sounds quite bluesy because he's quoting the D minor pentatonic. So it sounds, that bit sounds like this. Now next we have this really cool lick over the E9 chord, which really tells the story of an E9. It could be E13, and even E7. It could even be a sharp 11 there. And then to round up, to end the phrase when we're in the A9 sus, he's using a minor pentatonic, but an E minor pentatonic. And if you play an E minor pentatonic over an A major or an A bass, what you get is a sus sound, because the E minor pentatonic has all the tones, all the notes of a sus, A sus. So check this out. So if we're playing an A, if you think of an A as being your root, the first note of the E minor pentatonic would be a fifth, so that's 5. The second note of the E minor pentatonic is the 7. The third note is the root, which is the A. Then it's the 9th, the B is the 9th. And the last note of the pentatonic, the E minor pentatonic, is the 11, or the 4th. So we have... So all the tones. His solo sounds like this. And then he ends with some chord stabs. A D, a D6-9, and then down the octave. Now of course this is all played on the piano, so this is a transcription of his piano lines. The flute solo in the B section sounds like this. If you remember, in the B section we have 8 bars. We have a bar of A minor 7, a bar of D 9, and then we head over G. G major 7, you can also play G6. So it's like a 2, 5, 1 in the key of G. And what the flute is playing, he's playing the arpeggios, the arpeggio notes of each chord. So to start with, this is an A minor 7 arpeggio, heading to the guide tone of the D7, to the E, which is the 6th of the G, because that's where we're going. G6, that has an E. So it's quite a nice line. With a little bit of chromatic. There's not much melody. We don't hear the melody. The melody here is sounding, and so he's not quoting the melody at all. Actually, it's just a simple arpeggio. It sounds a little bit like a bebop line that you'd hear a jazz player play. Then what we have next is 2, 5 in the key of A. So B minor 7. To E9, E dominant 9, but instead of resolving to A, we're going to play A sus and then A7 flat 13. So it's like a 2, 5, 1, but not resolving. So into the A7, and then that would take us back to the A section. And on that, he's playing an arpeggio. A B minor arpeggio, B minor 7, just a simple straight B minor 7 arpeggio, heading to the guide tone of the E7. And this sounds very beboppy as well. And then here, that's the 7th of the chord of the A, which should be chord 1, because we're thinking of 2, 5, that's 1, but now that's 1 in the 7th form. That's the ending line of going from the A sus to the A7. Here's the guide tone of the A7. And this is hinting on the minor 9th. So that sounds quite beboppy. If I play it one more time quite slowly. Now there's a lot of embellishment, some grace notes there, but essentially it's just an arpeggio with some chromatic notes and the guide tones. So I hope that gives you some ideas that you can use to improvise. Taking a look at Jobim's style, it's very fun to copy. It's very fun to try to imitate, because he's very economical. He doesn't use very much. He doesn't throw lots of notes. If there's anything that we missed out or anything that you'd like to see next, please drop us a message. We really appreciate that. If you like to have the tabs, if you like to have the backing track that you can play over, check out our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/altguitarra. That's it for now, guys. I'll see you in the next one.